narcissist uses this one trait against everybody. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. As regular viewers of my work, you know that the interaction between a narcissist and another person, no matter how brief or how involved, is all about serving the narcissist's needs. The narcissism drives the narcissist through thought and feeling to pursue the prime aims of control, fuel, character traits, and residual benefits. I often explain that, in essence, nothing is off limit for the narcissist with regard to utilizing it for their own purposes. For example, taking love and corrupting it in order to draw you in. Using your vulnerabilities against you, so that at first the narcissist appears supportive and compassionate, although it's all false, and then later throws your weaknesses or vulnerabilities in your face, ridiculing you for them, perhaps even subjecting you to them, for instance, a fear of the dark, again in order to get to the prime aims. The narcissist will triangulate you with people, with events, with objects. All of those things can be used, again, to bring you under control, to keep you under control, to negate threats to control and to draw fuel from you. The narcissist will bring up the past. The narcissist will utilize the future. The narcissist will reference lots of different things, be they good or bad. Nothing is potentially off limits in the pursuit of destination, prime aims. But there is one particular trait about any potential victim that the narcissist always uses against you. It happens time and time again. I'm going to give you some examples of that particular trait in action. First of all, there is what is known as the halo effect in attractiveness. A study revealed that participants rated physically attractive individuals as possessing more positive personality traits, such as being kinder, more intelligent, and more successful in their careers and marriages compared to less attractive people. Further research demonstrated that teachers formed higher expectations for academic performance, intelligence, and future success from photographs of attractive children compared to unattractive ones, illustrating how looks influence educational perceptions, even without behavioral evidence. A further study found that attractive defendants in simulated jury trials received milder punishments and were judged as less guilty for the same crimes compared to unattractive defendants. Experiments revealed that people form lasting impressions of traits like trustworthiness, competence, and attractiveness from faces in as little as 100 milliseconds, with these quick visual assessments persisting even with longer exposure. In research on CEOs and lawyers, strangers accurately predicted professional success and firm profitability solely from yearbook photos, showing how perceived power or maturity in appearance causes appearance biases. It's also the case that a bald man is invariably viewed, as research has demonstrated, as being perceived as more aggressive than a man with a full head of hair. That men regard women with tattoos as more sexually available and, to put it crudely, likely to behave in a more sluttish manner compared to women without tattoos. Those are some examples of this trait in action. And what is that trait? It's judging people's appearances. The fact is, despite the instance that you will argue, well, no, I understood you don't judge a book by its cover. You get to know the person underneath. You may say that because you have, over time, learned that, and also your emotional empathy causes you to realize that appearances are not everything. You might know that in terms of an actual awareness, but you, like so many other people, when you first meet somebody, you cannot help but judge them upon their appearance. This is because it's hardwired into who you are as a consequence of tens of thousands of evolution. In essence, in order to enable you to make an assessment about whether you should involve yourself with a particular person, you have evolved to assess them on their appearance. Accordingly, particular appearances are equated with likely to be friendlier, kinder, more approachable, more successful. Other appearances are deemed to denote sexual availability, aggression, nastiness, unpleasantness. This naturally evolved as a survival mechanism because in some instances it's necessary to make a split-second decision rather, in order to decide whether you ought to engage or remove yourself from a particular situation, to steel yourself for conflict, or to welcome the individual with open arms. And quite simply, you, despite knowing that you ought not to do it, and perhaps even believing that you don't judge on appearances, you do. Subconsciously, it occurs along with conscious responses also. You're designed to do it. It is part of who you are, whereby when you see somebody, rather than reserve judgment until you get to know them, rather than reserve judgment until you spend time with them and understand more about their motivations, personality, characteristics, and behavior, you will consciously and subconsciously make an assessment about that individual from when you first meet them, in the first few seconds, indeed in some instances in milliseconds. This trait, which is inherent in all human beings, is exploited by the narcissist and used against you. Why? Because the narcissist will present a particular image to you that is deemed as acceptable to you, and because you judge on that appearance, it makes it far easier then for the narcissist to ensnare you, to get past your defenses. The narcissist may mirror. The narcissist will present themselves, utilizing means which are deemed to be attractive, whether that might be, for instance, dressing in a provocative way or dressing in a conservative way, ensuring that they look attractive, and that attractiveness might mean wearing bright red lipstick or more demure makeup. But the fact is that the narcissist utilizes appearance as a means to slip under any defenses that you might have. You gauge an individual on appearance, and the narcissist is the master of the presentation of an illusion. How many of you recognize instances whereby you saw somebody and thought to yourself, wow, they're really good looking. Gosh, they're sexy. They look like fun. They look interesting. They look kind. And you made that initial assessment within mere seconds of meeting that person. Sometimes you will have actively thought that way. In other instances, it's gone on in your subconscious, and that is the outcome because you have then gone on to engage with them. Later, you have invariably learned to your cost that what has happened is that you found out that that person wasn't trustworthy, wasn't kind, actually wasn't that attractive as a person as a whole. This, of course, can be applicable to non-narcissists, but it is the narcissist that exploits this trait of judging in the initial stage through appearance against you, because it is the narcissist that presents an alternative appearance in order to fit in, a veneer or a facade that is utilized inherently and instinctively by the majority of narcissists, some do so with awareness, so that a particular image is projected to you. If you relied upon waiting to get to know a person and gauging their behaviors and characteristics, this would work against the narcissist. And as those of you who have consulted with me, you will know that I emphasize the necessity of slowing down the initial interaction with an individual so you actually do spend time to get to know them, so you learn more about their behaviors, and this also tests the individual for if they're a narcissist, they're invariably in a hurry to bring you under control, and you slowing the initial interaction down may well cause them to react in a way which exposes them at an early juncture. The fact is, you are programmed to judge people on their appearances. Everybody does it. It's part of who you are. And that trait, which is inherent to every single human being, whether you agree or not, it is. Research has demonstrated that. The narcissist exploits that because it allows the narcissist to present something that is an illusion to get you under control, without you actually having to understand what that person truly is. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.